beautiful day here at the Slate Studios. Today is our favorites. And in case
Hold on, everybody. I'm turning Dickey down. I've saved you. Go ahead, Dickey.
There we go. And in case you are new here, we like to talk about a director, an actor, a genre, any collection of movies, and talk about our favorites in said collection. And like I said, it's a B-E-A-utiful day. We love the way the cookie crumbles here and any other things because it's, well, you clicked on today's episode so you know it's Jim Carrey. Good old James Carrey himself. The man with a million faces.
Smoking. Somebody stop me.
I really... Oh, were you going to say something?
No, we didn't pick that movie.
I was going to, before we get into this, I'm going to express my utter amazement
I think we're going to say the same thing.
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, no. I truly enjoy Dumb and Dumber. I truly, truly do.
It's better than yours.
Yeah, it is. I don't like it, and I think it is.
Really?
I think it's a better...
comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, so in case you couldn't tell, my pick is Bruce Almighty.
They probably couldn't tell because there are so many Jim Carrey comedies that aren't really comedies.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the number 23.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I laughed.
It's everywhere.
I didn't see it.
It's something. But I feel like Jim Carrey is so good at being outrageous. When you give him a role that he can be that in, like Bruce, that's where he shines.
Yes, the best role he's ever been in is Eggman from Sonic.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
That's a really good point, man. He's great in Sonic.
He makes that movie.
He does. But let's get into Bruce Almighty because Bruce Almighty is legit. It's okay. I'll be really honest. It has been a hot second. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. We used to watch it in like high school and junior high all the time. For some reason, that's what the teachers...
You told me you watched it this week.
I did. I was getting around to that.
Okay.
Thank you for...
making sure you're not lying.
No, I was building up to something and you
literally started with, I haven't seen this movie.
In a while. Which
Children!
I was...
Move forward.
Anyway, I was going to say, it's been a long time since watching it yesterday?
He didn't even remember because
Today?
he's lying.
2 days ago? I did watch this.
No, that's Dickey's golden retriever energy. He can't remember things more than 30 minutes.
I really can. It's all gone. Listen, I did a lot of dumb things in college and high school. I know because of them it's gone. But Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty is legitimately one of my comfort just roles in movies just to go back to. Like, he is just so dumb. It's so funny. He really is. And like the other one that sells it for me, which his spin-off movie is not that good, is...
Please don't tell me you like Evan Almighty.
No, I don't. Well, it's charming.
He likes Son of the Mask.
Well, I was just going to say, though...
Man, I gotta go.
Why am I blanking on Steve Carell? Steve Carell in this is so funny.
Steve Carell honestly has the funniest part of the movie.
Have you seen the outtakes of that scene, like where he's doing?
You mean the parts that are literally in the credits?
That's it.
Point and laugh at him.
I forgot those were in the credits after just watching the movie. Yes.
The movie itself, because I saw it as a kid.
Oh yeah,
or maybe middle school age kid.
I saw it as a kid the year before I graduated from high school.
This is made for like high schoolers and junior high.
Yeah, this time around I was like, there are funny moments, but it's fine.
I mean,
it's a lot more serious than I remember.
Yeah,
it is. Like
it's also not. I'll let you go.
Okay, I was gonna say, it legit has very serious and very moving moments. Like everything with Jennifer Aniston and their relationship, which. And in the end, I don't know if I was in her shoes, if I would take him back after what he's done.
You were talking about that the other day.
Because
does he really deserve her after coming to that conclusion of I want her to be happy with someone who's better than me?
It's a wonderful conclusion.
I would have really appreciated the what's the right word to use? Like the gusto.
Resolution?
No, just like the gusto, or just like
the gusto.
I just would have really appreciated if they would have actually legitimately cut it off, ended it at that.
And let him be dead?
Not let him be dead, But just...
I don't know. It'd be okay if he's dead. I mean, you don't lean down in the middle of a highway and live to tell about it, son.
You really don't. That's but like,
he was only semi-dead.
Okay, give me a fist bump for that one. That was good. Nicely done,
I think
sir.
that was the best joke I've heard you make in a couple months.
Probably. You had enough?
That was a good one. Nicely done. But yeah, I mean, I it would have been more moving if he would have been dead or not got back to her. But the other thing I have to mention, every single person alive who's seen this movie mentions it. Morgan Freeman is God.
Perfect
Has
casting.
there ever been a better casting than Morgan Freeman is God? Has there? This is not a redundant question. Not redundant. It's
Rhetorical.
rhetorical. Thank you.
Yes, Jamie Kennedy and Son of the Mask. And then Morgan
I was actually
Freeman.
going to have a serious answer.
What was your answer? I'm very curious.
Jimmy Stewart and anything.
Yeah.
I mean, fair, but I just...
Actually, no, I actually have a serious answer. Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Like that's...
It is very good casting.
perfect.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes. We won't get into that.
But that's what I like.
Do you want to hear my... I don't know if it's an issue, but kind of something that felt clunky about the movie.
Go for it.
So they make him out to be a very self-centered person.
Yes.
And that's a very good part of his arc. I think they made him too nice. Because he is a jerk at times, but like the whole setup at the beginning of their relationship, he's acting about himself, but then he's actually like a fairly nice, loving person. It's weird. It's like, okay, I'm seeing this, but then the next scene he's acting like a jerk, but then they pull back like the whole... You know, you're not, it's like Evan's an a-hole. You're not an a-hole. And then he just, with the sandwich, that made me laugh really hard. But then they pull back because then it's like, I'm sorry, I'll get that. I'm like, so he's not a jerk.
The whole point is that he's angry at his circumstances, which is why he gets angry at God, because he blames his circumstances on God. It's not him.
Yeah,
it's
you
God.
know what I'm saying.
Like, no, I don't agree with it, really, I guess.
Yeah. I guess it's like, I get what you're setting up, and for what kind of movie, it's a fun comedy is what it's supposed to be.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
like, you're setting him up to be super likable, but just he happens to be self-centered at times. It's like,
which
I guess,
to
but
me,
it
that
just...
makes him... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I think that's what makes him more of just a realistic character, because I think you're going to...
Because I don't think anyone is all one way or all the other.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just remember I was like, this is weird. I feel like they're making him too likable.
I mean, but you look at the way whenever he talks to Jennifer Aniston, well, I cannot remember her name for the love of me in this movie. What's her character name? Is it Grace?
Yeah. That sounds right.
Grace?
Of course, it'd be something that obvious.
Yeah. But, like, I just, like, everything about their relationship, like, he would always talk about himself. Like, I think that's where his douchery shines, if that's a weird way to put it, but that's
nailed
where,
it.
The bad notes of his character really come out, and that's what has to change over the course of the movie. Which I really liked how, like, I don't know, like, I think it was an old, one of my professors showed me this, like, I think it's a script writing class or something like that. It's a video of the South Park creators. And they were
Parker and Stone, yeah. They were saying how to tell the story, and they were saying, like, if this happens, then that. If this happens, then that. Like, they're always saying, like, there's always has to be consequences for everything. And I love how that was the main focus of this. Like, if you get the powers of God, crap is going to go down. Like, you're not just gonna, like, no person, like, I know myself. Are you kidding? If I could do whatever I want, there would be chaos in the streets. Like, things would be blowing up left and right. Like, things would just be horrible. And I like that they really portray that well in this movie. Literally, the Buffalo Sabres win the Stanley Cup and the apocalypse happens.
I know!
Which, I was telling you this, I remember reading up on it, it's like, they say in the movie, oh, for the first time in 22 years, they've won the Stanley Cup. And I go, that doesn't sound right. And I look it up, they've never won it.
Oh, really?
Why not just say they've never won it? That makes it even funnier.
It makes it even better.
I don't know why it's not a big deal, but I remember thinking, like, why did they change that? That's why, okay, whatever. It's funny because the second the Sabres win something, the entire city's being burned down.
It is pretty bad. It was a really good one.
But like, okay, there's one thing that I remember watching it this time made me laugh harder. Like it wasn't. Well, it was a joke, but it wasn't like a standout joke in the movie.
If he says the monkey coming out of the dude's butt,
it was not the monkey coming out of the dude's butt. It's a shot.
It was the monkey going back in.
Like one shot in this movie, one specific camera angle made me laugh harder than anything else. Do you want to try to guess it or do you just want me to tell you? No. Okay, I'll just tell you.
I wasn't going to say anything.
It was when Jim Carrey is he's doing the parting the seas in his tomato soup, and it's the yes, it's that shot right there. For Jake, when you edit this, can you put that shot on the?
I have no idea what shot it is.
Go ahead and turn the computer around for him. It's it's that one where it's angled
like his
up
response
at him
is,
and you see the soup and him going like I don't know why it's so ridiculous, and I don't know, it's probably cheesy CGI, but it seemed like it was they maybe used actual soup. I don't know how they got the shot, but it made me laugh so hard.
See, what they did is they took two people with super powered vacuums and they stood on each end of the soup bowl and just sucked.
They just sucked that soup as hard as they could.
Yeah. I also, the other
Good
part
soup.
that always makes me
It's good soup.
that makes me laugh is, well, it's actually pretty smart where he's like, okay, I need organization of these prayers.
Dude,
So then, when he does the files and then the sticky notes, he's like, okay, and then he does the email. I go, that's actually pretty smart. But then the Yahweh, and he just does a bunch and more. He's like, just yes, all. And I remember the first time going,
oh, say the first time, like they're like back in like the day when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that can't be good. You can't. We have historic lotto winners and everything else. Like it's oh god, it's so good. And yeah, I'm trying to think of any other highlights that I want to talk about. Yeah,
just Steve Carell is the best part.
He's so good.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
It's weird. There's a movie from the 60s, early 60s called The Apartment. You ever heard of it?
Nope. Wait, did you say The Apartment?
The Apartment with Jack Lemmon.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard
that's something he says, but he doesn't say it the same way. It's much dorkier. I remember thinking, because I saw this, Bruce Almighty, way back, and then in high school when I watched The Apartment, and he goes, well, I guess that's the way it crumbles, cookie-wise. And I remember thinking, like, okay, they did that in Bruce Almighty. Is there any kind of connection between the two? I maybe not. I just remember thinking, like, that's just funny how this movie is what everyone quotes, and the other one's like this dorkier version.
Huh.
That's just something fun I thought of.
No, that's
I need to watch The Apartment again. I love that movie.
That's a good part. Okay, one last thing, then we'll move on. The other scene that super stands out to me is immediately after he gets his powers and goes back to see Grace. Everything in that scene is just like imprinted into my mind, like him throwing lasso around the moon, pulling it down, and then like.
Speaking of "It's a Wonderful Life," is that what you were?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Exactly, like, well, and that's also the scene that plays on the
TV. The TV is what he. You want the moon? I'll just throw a lasso on it, pull it down.
No, there are so many parts of this movie that I didn't see It's a Wonderful Life before the first time I saw it. But watching it again, there are so many parts of this movie that are It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Just period. Just because I haven't said much about it. I didn't like this movie as much as I did. I was like, I loved it when I was a kid. It was one of my favorites. Movie I quoted just relentlessly before something like Community came around. I love its message. It gets me right here every time I watch it. However, this time watching it, I'm like, is this really?
What about it rub you the wrong way though? Because like
I don't know. It just
like this feels.
You're
like,
older,
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When did this come out? This
2003.
It just feels like early Jim Carrey. Maybe that's why it's got.
It feels like a 2003 movie.
It absolutely does.
Like an early 2000s movie, and part of it was it just kind of isn't like his shtick is just.
It's a lot.
I don't want to say it has an expiration date, but it kind of has an expiration
Which
date.
is fair because I like his shtick, his comedy, like his stuff, it's not like it can easily get very tiresome. I can absolutely
just watch Ace Ventura. 10 minutes in, I was like, oh,
I love Ace Ventura.
I'm gonna hate this, and I don't
really
hate it.
do.
It's also not that good.
Yeah, but doesn't Dickey seem like the type of person that would like Ace Ventura like a lot?
I do.
Oh, he's
I really
insufferable
enjoy
in that
Ace
movie,
Ventura.
though. It's like I
He
can't
is.
stand him.
He's so like,
And the ending is one of the worst age things I've ever seen.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that movie didn't exactly age very well.
No.
But this just
But-
brought me up.
But good news. I never have to watch it again.
No, you don't. But really quick,
Someone pick it for favorite.
I don't want to mention. Actually, no, I'll get into this after because I think it's interesting that there's a couple of his movies that are very well known that none of us picked, and I'm a little bit surprised.
Why are you surprised?
I'm just surprised nobody picked Eternal Sunshine. Like that's one of.
I thought you were going to pick it.
Did you really?
I actually thought he was going to pick Dumb and Dumber or The Mask or.
I thought he was going to go
Liar.
basically Eternal Sunshine.
Is that
Jim
basic
Car-
though?
For film people, yeah.
Like, it's your film's not.
It's his second best performance. Because his best performance is my pick.
What a segue!
Well played.
Yes. But the reason I believe The Truman Show is Jim Carrey's best performance is because it perfectly blends his style of comedy and wackiness with the more serious side in a grounded way. He's never insufferable. He's never annoying. He's just this quirky, goofy guy that feels like anyone that you'd meet down the street.
I think it's funny that you say in a grounded way, given that
It's
a
a
lot
TV
of half
show.
of the movie takes place in a satellite above the earth. Maybe not half the movie, but
A satellite above the earth?
yeah, aren't the
Oh.
No.
oh they're in a TV station.
They're in a dome.
No, I know he's in a dome.
Yeah.
I know he's in a dome.
They're
I'm
in
talking
the
about
dome
people
too. They're in the moon.
They're-
The moon in the dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
like the.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't watched it in 2 years. I didn't get time this week.
Yes. Yeah, and a decent chunk of the movie is in the dome with him.
Yeah.
And I say grounded because he's grounded. The circumstances not. Every time my dad brings it up, it's funny. It's like, it's a good movie. It's illegal. I go,
Always wanna.
yes. That's what we're going for. But and then there's been if you've noticed in the last couple of years, there's this whole bunch of people who are revisiting it and saying like, wow, this movie is really good. It's also really sad. I go, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
it
think
is.
there's some kind of YouTube essay video called like A Thinly Disguised Tragedy or something. And I go, yeah, your whole life is fake.
Yeah, I mean, like, could you literally imagine waking up
Oh
one
my
day
gosh.
and realizing everything around you was just built? Like, nothing
That's-
is real?
I have to make a comparison to Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh boy.
I've never seen this.
It's
So-
not a giant spoiler. It's on the poster. There's a plane on the poster, right?
Yes.
Above them.
Yes.
The plane in Don't Worry, Darling is supposed to be the light fixture falling in the Truman Show. It breaks the illusion of what's happening. And I don't have to say what's happening in Don't Worry, Darling. Or it's just, it's the turning point, which, Don't Worry, Darling, that's like 20, 30 minutes in the movie. Where Truman Show, it's the first like
It's-
10 minutes.
Yeah, so they just get right into it.
And it's funny how one is this very big thing that we don't even do anything with in that movie. And then this movie, it's just a little light, one little thing. And it doesn't, while one completely changes the perspective for Florence Pugh's character, in this one, it's just, what's that? And it's the start of the facade starting to break because
Mhm.
at a certain point, because what is he, 30 now? 30 something?
Seems about
They
right.
said it's just, at what point does he figure it out and then has to make that choice? Like, that you get to that moment at the end, and it's like,
Dude,
if you stay here, everything's perfect. It's like, yeah, but it's fake. But then if I go
You
out
take the
there,
blue pill or you take the red pill. It's the same.
yeah. But then if he goes out there, it's like, he how's he going to survive out there? He's
He
never lived in the
I
real
mean, he
world,
can.
and he's got what's her name?
Yeah. Oh,
So it's all-
That would have been an
point.
interesting sequel.
That would be
So,
an
yeah,
interesting
there we
sequel.
go.
I wonder if, like, because Jim Carrey. Oh no, isn't he retired?
Yeah, I think he retired after that second Sonic movie this year.
Oh, what a
No,
what a
he's
note-
got to come back for Sonic 3.
What a note to go out on.
It was fantastic. I don't know what you're talking
I've
about.
never actually seen Sonic 2.
It's
I know it looks,
it's so dumb.
but
I love it.
it is. But Jared, that's a very you made that that your first argument about why you think it's the best. That's a really good point. As much
it's
as
just-
I love Bruce Almighty and it's my favorite of his, that like Truman Show is
Jim Carrey, and you can make the case for Eternal Sunshine being his best performance. I just think if you want a movie that perfectly epitomizes his career once he's gone and who knows how long,
I think
this is the one I think you go to first, in my opinion. But the other choice is also fantastic.
I think that You're in My Pick and Eternal Sunshine are the same level of
Man on the Moon is also in there.
I always forget about that one.
I've not seen
At least performance-wise, Man on the Moon and Majestic, I think, are a step below the other two movie-wise. But performance-wise, that's the cream
I was
of the
talking
crop.
about performance-wise.
Okay,
I would put those all on the same level, and it's just, what do you prefer? What do you want it to represent? Like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember enough about this to have any sort of comment about it.
It really is just I just rewatching it again. You just get so sucked into the world, and I just really like how it's especially nowadays where TV shows like when did this originally come out?
98.
98?
Yeah.
Wow, this aged like a fine wine.
I remember the first time I watched it, I feeling like at the end, like it just ends, like, and appreciating it for that because I, got it. But it's interesting how it just, it ends with him walking out the door.
Well, then it cuts back to the two parking garage guys who've been watching the
well,
check what else is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just move on to the next thing.
Like that's like the wow. The fact that this came out in 98, like this is so relevant today with how many TV shows are out now and how many how people are just glued to their TV screens.
Wasn't that at not the height of reality TV, but like the steep climb of reality?
I think so.
98,
TV.
That sounds about right when that was like MTV and that kind of stuff would be.
I'm talking more like stuff like Fear Factor and.
Oh yeah, that kind of.
But Big Brother and what Real World.
I think all those.
Real World might have been done by that. I don't know. I'm old. I don't remember.
But yeah, this is definitely like
being the only person in the room that remembers 1998.
I was whopping 3 years old. I remember
1998.
Yeah.
He was 95. I thought he was 96.
No, 95.
95.
Huh.
I think this was the year I stuck my hand under the stove. I have this vivid memory of my mother boiling something on our gas stove and me just whoop. And I was like, why did you do that? I don't know.
Smart.
Do you want to know what I have a vivid memory of from when I was a kid?
Where is this going?
So my mom's a diabetic, right?
Okay.
Before they had the freestyle things that automatically take your blood sugar and give you insulin.
Yeah.
She had syringes. She kept them in a blue case.
I don't like where this is
had
going.
a band around it.
Did you?
She always let me put stickers on it.
Nice.
So one day, I got curious and picked up one of them syringes.
No.
Little pokey poke.
No.
Snap. Oh, snap. Oh, not the snap.
And it wasn't a used one. It was a clean one. She only kept clean ones in there.
That's good. That's good. So that was a doctor visit.
No, I think my dad just came in and dug the needle out.
Tweezers or something like that, probably.
Yeah.
I needed to get out of this room.
You don't want to imagine.
Do we have a bit of a phobia of needles?
Especially stuck in your leg and pulling out with the neat tweezers.
Shut up.
Anyway.
I remember one of the best things I ever heard in any class ever was in high school. Our teacher goes, "So we're going to learn about Plato's cave and all that means." I remember in college back in the day, I read book after book after book for a couple classes, all about how the cave works and what Plato means by it and all that. Here, you guys get a 2-hour movie. Here you go. So we watched The Truman Show. That's the first time I'd seen it. And my friends had told me from the semester before, oh, you get to watch The Truman Show. I go, oh, I've always wanted to see that. And I think it got better as I get older. It just
it really
it hit a little deeper. The moment he slams into the wall and he gets out and he's touching it and the Philip Glass music that they use in that part is cranked up. I think it's the Philip Glass music. And he's just no audio crying as he's banging on the wall. I almost cried.
Dude, it's intense.
It's like, I can't even imagine being in a situation where like you don't want to believe your life is a lie, and then you literally hit that moment where it is, everything's fake. And you're like, oh.
Like, you mentioned that, and just backing up like 10 minutes, like that whole searching for him. Like, I remember like that scene, just like, I had so many like all my mixed emotions, because like I'm stressed out for him. Like, where is he? What is he doing? I'm kind of stressed out for the creators too, because like they just lost their like main character and they're freaking out. Like, just so much going on. Like, at the feeling they're searching for, I'm like, what the heck happened? Where did he go? Like, it's like that searching is intense. Like, it's really, really well done.
I dubbed this planet Trumania.
And, we have to mention Christoph. Like, who plays him?
Ed
again?
Harris.
Ed Harris.
He was nominated for this performance.
Was he really?
Yep,
I
believe the script was nominated. I think it's Andrew Niccol before he started directing. I think, or around the time.
He did a great job. Oh my god!
Because Andrew Niccol, he did like Gattaca. I think he helped write The Terminal.
Okay.
Lord of War, and then In Time.
Oh.
But and then I think Peter Weir, one of my favorite directors, got a Best Director nomination, but it did not get nominated for picture.
That's fair. I mean,
and Jim Carrey also. I think he might have won the Globe.
Oh, wow.
I think there's a thing where this and Man on the Moon were back-to-back years where I think he won the Globe and didn't get nominated for the Oscar. He's never been nominated.
Yeah, I mean,
he should have been nominated for Eternal Sunshine.
I don't remember what that came up against, but he probably should have.
That would have been Jamie Foxx won for Ray, and then you got Leo in The Aviator, which probably should have won. Yeah. Actually, I think Paul Giamatti might have been nominated that year too for Sideways. He's in this movie.
Yeah, not for a lot though, but he's in it for like.
I remember this time like, oh, he's in this a lot more than I thought he was. I thought it was like 2 scenes. He's in it more than that.
Yeah,
I just remember feeling bad for him. He's on the verge of tears when they realize like Truman's gone.
Oh, he's like, I'm fired.
He's like, yeah,
I'm absolutely fired for this.
Also, the way they keep Truman from leaving, like giving him that what is it? Is it just aquaphobia or something? What do you call it? He's a fear of water.
You call it, but aquaphobia seems like it's right.
But making him, well, one, that's pretty terrible.
It's horrible what they actually do to this man.
That they, as a kid, make him think that it's his fault that his dad died.
But that's dark, man. That's really
dark. And then
dark.
just years later, oh yeah, he's okay.
It is actually aquaphobia.
It is aquaphobia. All right.
Well, but that and just all like, and I know it's just all built that his life is a lie, but like, just all of the lies that like all of the like, this questions so many morals like for all the actors. Like,
yeah,
like yes, you're getting probably a really good paycheck, but like you are lying to this man about his life.
Is this a liar reveal in like reverse?
Kinda, yeah. Where
that's
everyone is in on it, but
valid.
one person.
Yeah. It's just. You know what? I'm actually legitimately surprised because this came out in '98. How has there not been a reboot or a remake?
Don't even start that conversation.
Dude, because like that's like saying Voldemort's name. If you say it, it'll happen. Don't say it.
It's like saying that Scottish play in the theater.
Well, what's wrong with it happening? We still have the Truman Show. I just would be curious to see a modern reimagining of this because it seems like it's right for.
I agree with Dickey on this because when they remade The Lion King, it made him like the original Lion King more.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it made me hate that new movie.
Yep.
Well, that's fine. Like you can hate whatever movie you want, but like I feel like if
I also hate you.
Thank you. Not that this movie isn't popular. I feel like you mentioned this earlier. It's growing and it's coming. It's like
I don't feel like it was as popular when it came out.
No, I think it was, but I don't know.
I was 12, so
and I was 4. He was 3. I just feel like lately more attention has come back to it. It's kind of circled back again.
Well, just because of all the TV.
I think a lot of Jim Carrey's work has circled back again. Now that I'm thinking about it,
it's probably the nostalgia kick because he was big in the early 2000s, late 90s, and people are kind of reminiscing for those days now.
It's fair
to see how that. But we've gone on long enough about
I feel like I was going to say,
sorry.
you want the example of goofy, wacky Jim Carrey? That scene where he's like driving with his wife. It's
my God.
No, let's go to Mardi Gras. And he's doing that. I was like, okay, there he is.
That's what I like. God, you made such a good point, and this makes you like.
And and if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. It's like he's so dorky, but it feels like someone. That's something you do.
It is like he's such a goofy dork. And
is Dickey Jim Carrey in disguise?
The thing is, I am goofy as he is, but I cannot control my face the way that man can like act with his face.
That's fair.
His face that he can make are marvelous. Look at the Grinch. Like that man.
We jump to the Grinch where he's under 5 million layers of makeup.
I mean, yes.
And yet you can still tell it's Jim Carrey.
I know. It's just funny. That's what he jumps to.
That's just where I went because I'm like thinking of crazy Jim. I mean, the mask obviously was still an animated thing. Like I don't know. I just think he's good at that. But anything else you want to mention about Truman Show before we move on to Jake's pick?
No.
All right, and it'll definitely. I like how we're getting more and more serious. We started off with Bruce Almighty, just straight comedy. Jared's is a good mix between comedy and seriousness. And Jake's.
What are you talking about? Mine's a laugh a minute.
I mean, it's very heartfelt. I just think it's more serious. But
no, it's not written by the same dude that wrote Shawshank Redemption and the Green. No.
Yeah, I didn't know it was directed. Like, first off, I never even heard of
Frank Darabont.
No, I've heard of it. No, but I wouldn't want to say the name of this movie. I don't know if you wanted to.
The Majestic is the one that I picked because I'm a weirdo.
But I never knew.
Hey, I'd seen it before.
I've never seen it before.
You're like the one person that's seen it before.
Has Drew seen it?
I'm sure.
Oh, there you go. 3 of us.
I didn't know Frank Darabont directed this.
It's kind of a part of an Americana trilogy, isn't it? A little bit with like Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile and this. So this is 3 of the 4 movies he's directed. But
yep,
he did a good job though.
Anyway, I love this movie. Admittedly, I haven't seen it in 20 years. I watched it when it first came out, back when Netflix was still on discs that they had to mail you. I had surgery one summer, and I watched this, and man, I love it. And going back to it, man, I love it. It just feels so familiar, and God forbid I say nostalgic, like, but in a good way, and like cheesy, but in like a good way. Like there are some obvious flaws with it, but I really do think it's one of Jim Carrey. Like for me, having not seen Eternal Sunshine,
never,
not once. I've seen Truman Show, I've seen Man on the Moon, I've seen this. Never seen Eternal
Number 23.
Yes, yes.
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh my God, I forgot about that movie.
Me, Myself, and Irene.
That's the movie that Ben was talking about. With him and the girl. Hold on. Talk about the Majestic while I...
So, for those of you out there who don't know what the Majestic is...
Which is pretty much everyone.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey plays a Hollywood B-movie writer that gets blacklisted. And before anything can happen, he gets in a car accident where he gets launched into a river.
Really quick, it takes place in the 50s because they're doing that.
He gets blacklisted.
Yeah.
So it's part of that whole thing. And... when he wakes up, he hit his head. So when he wakes up, he has amnesia. And they take him into a small town where he resembles one of the boys from town that went off to World War II and was MIA. And he resembles him so much, they think it is him, just with memory loss. So it is kind of a liar reveal of sorts. But as Jake and I have pointed out to each other earlier, it's just a miscommunication.
It really is.
There's no malicious intent. Yeah. But it's just sad.
It's interesting because I had a similar reaction to it that you had to Bug's Life when I was watching it this time. I was like, why are they so mad at him? It's not like it's his fault. It's not like he hid it from him. Obviously, they don't stay mad at him for that long.
And I think the other thing is, I think it's more of, they've been hurt so much, and they bring it up in the movie because they lost, what was it? Like they said, like 60 boys went off to war, and the majority of them died.
They have a whole cemetery that's just for boys.
A section, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they've been hurt so much, and then it's been 6 years since the war ended, and it's like this little glimmer of hope for them. Not that anything's bad, but just like someone came back that they thought was gone. It was just everyone kind of, whether they believed it fully or not, kind of bought into it because they want it to be him. And so that moment when it's not, they're mad at him, but I think they're also just sad.
They're just upset.
Because remember, they got that thing from Roosevelt, that war memorial thing, and they just didn't have the heart to put it up.
Yeah. I will say, watching this with no place of nostalgia whatsoever, it was very, like, I think Jim Carrey's performance is what shines through, but also...
Everyone in the movie feels so familiar, and I just love that about it. Like, it is...
The weird thing is, like, are there that many actual big name actors in this?
Martin Landau
is big.
And then what's the guy with the eyebrows? Yeah.
Oh, you're talking James Whitmore.
Yeah.
The old guy that finds him on the beach is James Whitmore.
I feel like those aren't household names, but they're faces that you know.
But then you don't see him, but the voices at the beginning and end of the people talking with him about the movie.
Yes.
Though that's both Rob and Carl Reiner, Sidney Pollack, Paul Mazursky, and Gary Marshall, who are all big.
Really? And of course, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon has that voiceover
with the letter
part
at the end.
Yep. That's Matt Damon's voice.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which that letter was based off a real letter. And it's
Mr. I Watch Spirit.
Listen, if I don't see a horse, I'm not going to know it's Matt Damon.
Oh, so just all horses are Matt Damon.
Yes.
That's horsist.
I thought you were going to say that's horse shit.
Or he actually had a better joke than me. I don't know how I feel about that.
Deal with
it.
Well, before we stir up some more ill will, sorry. That was a horse joke. What are the stirrups again?
Oi! That was a Dickey joke.
I know.
Oh, get me off of this podcast. Someone get me off of this podcast. Save me. I need an escape rope.
Well, Jake, you spoke about, to me, like, why is everyone in this movie so recognizable? I think they did it perfect. It's supposed to feel like this small town that everyone knows.
Oh, yeah.
It's very comfortable feeling.
This movie, I read it best, I think, on Letterboxd. One of the reviews is, this is a celebration of what has made America what it is in like mid-century. Like
post World War II is when it was booming.
Like yes, but that's not what I mean. I think like Hollywood has really kind of made America what it is, and it's a celebration of that, but also small towns have made America what they are, and like the meeting of the two is a really interesting thing.
That's a good point.
And like we were talking about a little bit earlier, one of my things with the movie is I think it would have been a little bit more interesting had we not had the movie started with him waking up on the beach, because as it is,
that's interesting.
It almost convinces you that he's actually going to be Luke.
Oh yeah.
Had they done that, they would have had me fully bought in.
That's fair. And you mentioned that. And so that reminds me of a thought that I had going through my head when I was watching this is I feel like this premise of, him being in Hollywood and whatnot and getting amnesia, waking up here, this could have easily been played like a horror movie. Just like of like the town, I guess like of him like being like, not abducted into the town is like the wrong way I want to put it, but like,
I don't think I would have liked that as much.
Conformed into the town. Like, I just kept thinking, just like, if they took this premise, just played it more serious and darker, this could have been a really fascinating horror movie. And not that I would have liked that more, but I just think that would have been a really interesting way to take this story. But also, I have to bring it up just because I am not soaked in nostalgia, and there were a couple of flaws that stood out for me. This is long.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
What would you cut out, though? Like, I agree with you.
Everything in the opening, I'd cut out.
So I
think it's not as much cutting out big sections of story. Maybe just, I don't even know. Like, it comes down to shortening the story.
Yeah, I'm not really questioning. Like I was thinking that too. Like, do you think that having the movie writer plot and the communist plot, like I know he has to be accused of being a communist to get him to run away, but do you think that like that whole subplot is very powerful? I get that.
And you need the movie right because that's how his memory comes back. He's watching the movie he wrote.
Yeah, and you need the movie part. So do you think it was too much to juggle?
Well, then you got like the one guy at the diner with the hook that doesn't believe him. That's a whole subplot on top of it that has like 3 scenes, and it's
but
like
that's not like a.
Again, you can cut that out.
Yeah.
And rebuilding the Majestic is a big part of the story, but
I mean the movie is called The Majestic.
Yeah, I'm not saying cut it out. I'm saying, but like.
Just trim it back a little
bit. I don't know.
It just felt like I was just watching it. So I'm like, I'm enjoying what I'm watching. Like, I'm not dissing. I'm like, I really did enjoy.
It's very long. I'm not. I think we're all in agreement there. It's very long.
Mm-hmm.
The whole part about I don't know. You kind of need the piano thing to understand that someone understands it wasn't him, and you kind of need the communist subplot for him to be able to convince. What's her name?
Oh, I don't remember what her name.
You talking to the girl?
Girl.
Adele?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To convince Adele that he is worth falling in love with, I guess is how I would put that. I did. Not to cut you off. I did like how she was like, I knew it. Like I did, but I didn't want to believe it. Then I still fell in love with She's the one that I felt was justified in being angry because she's not angry at him.
Just the circumstances.
Like, I felt like the town was angry at him. She's angry at herself.
For still falling in love with when she had a feeling it wasn't him, but then just let herself get carried away with everything. I mean, not for falling in love with him, but for letting herself believe that it was Luke.
Yeah, that's fair. And I will say the one other small thing that should not have bugged me as much as it did, but I feel like they played it, like they could have cut down 1 or 2 of the
hiccuping scene they could have cut out.
That
was cute, but it was dumb.
Yeah. The lighthouse thing?
Yeah.
Did you notice? That was one of those where I go,
bad.
Oh, I was like, they're not actually there, are they? Well, there are a couple shots where like, okay, they're actually there when it's a distance. Once you get close up to the top, it's like, oh yeah, you can see the edge on them. Like, oh boy.
But I was gonna say in the beginning, like when they kept like, wait, you don't remember this? Wait, you don't remember this? Like he doesn't remember anything. Like we get it. Like you don't have to do it like 5 or 6 times. Like I feel like you could have cut down a couple of those. I don't know.
I don't know. I know it has flaws. I love it. People say it's too cheesy. I tell people that Hollywood was built on cheese. So
it's supposed to be Capricorn. It is modern Capricorn. It's Frank Darabont making a giant love letter to the classic Hollywood he knew as a kid.
Yeah.
By using the how do I say this? The tone and style of Frank Capra movies, which at their time were criticized for being too cheesy.
Makes sense.
And people love a lot of them now.
Like it doesn't like not every movie has to take itself so seriously. Like, and that's what I think the tone of this is what also like kind of hit the nail on the head. Like it took itself seriously when it needed to be, and it was very lighthearted and wholesome and just happy.
Yeah. Also, Martin Landau is just the best part of the movie.
Who did he play again?
He's fun.
He's his dad.
He's his dad.
But his dad.
His dad. No, he was. Oh my God.
To him, he was. And that's what was important.
That's what, like...
And I'm happy that he died without having to realize that his son was actually dead.
I know.
That moment where he's like, I'm not...
He was about to say...
And then he goes,
that is just...
That hit me.
Jim Carrey, man.
I'm not... ready for you to go or something like that.
Okay, it seems like that in this movie where this is why I say this is on the same level with the Truman Show, Man on the Moon, and Eternal Sunshine. Like
he sells it.
Oh my God.
He can be a good actor.
I can't not see Jim Carrey, to be perfectly honest with you, but I don't care. I don't know. I also don't know if I already said this, but I want to say that for me, having not seen Eternal Sunshine, having not really connected with Man on the Moon, this was for me, for Jim Carrey, what Stranger Than Fiction is to Will Ferrell for me.
That is. Yeah, that's totally fair. I can see that.
Because I, of course, saw this before I saw the Truman
Show. You think it'd be Bruce Almighty, because in both cases, they get hit by a bus. Or a truck, or a vehicle, or whatever.
Wow. I don't like you.
Also, I do want to mention that you said that you're related to Stranger Than Fiction. He's way better of a serious actor than Will Ferrell is.
Yeah, Will Ferrell's decent.
In that
He
movie,
actually
he's
is.
decent.
Yeah, just Jim Carrey, I think, is better.
That's really the only. Well,
Like the
The
only other
Lego
person
movie.
that I would put in.
what?
Nothing.
Wait, what did I miss?
You were saying.
He was going to try to convince me that Kicking and Screaming was a serious
Oh,
Oh
movie.
no, I said the
God.
Lego movie
Oh, that's actually what I was welling about too.
because live action Will Ferrell in that movie is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
When that moment where he realizes what he's
But-
been doing, it's
but
like,
also,
that's
like-
actually decent.
but also like it's 15 minutes of the movie, if even that.
Yeah, it was enough to not get it nominated for Best Animated Feature. That's so funny.
Notice they didn't do that in the Lego Batman movie.
No, they
It
never
still didn't
did.
get nominated. Lego Batman movie is great.
Is it better than the Lego movie?
I like it better
It's fair.
I know.
You just
it's-
like the Lego Batman character, though.
because he's funny.
Well, it's hard when you have to listen to Chris. Pratt. You have to listen to Chris Pratt's voice.
No parents.
For a whole movie, it kind of gets to you. But anyway, anything else you guys want to mention about?
Oh, the last thing is it. I remember I saw this, and then a lot of people say, yeah, it takes its influence from a lot of classic movies, one of them being Random Harvest. I was like, oh, okay. And that's like, this is like 10 years ago I watched The Majestic last. And then 2 years ago, I watched Random Harvest because it's a Best Picture nominee. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, what is the connection? And it's like, oh, I see it, because the Random Harvest isn't the same story, but it's based off a book where a guy who was a World War I veteran after the war loses his memories of who he was because of his PTSD or something, like an injury or something.
Okay.
So he doesn't know who he is. He's just aimlessly wandering. And he falls in love with this woman and they start a life together. Then he gets in an accident and his memory reverts
Oh wow.
to everything before the war, but not what had happened since.
Interesting.
And she's trying to, and then now he's just gone, and she runs into it and finds out, like,
And
how do I get him? How do I like what is the right thing? In the book,
Yeah.
apparently, there's a better reveal of how something happens in the third act than the movie, but the movie's still good.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing
Do
that
it.
I will say is that like another flaw about this movie is that he only forgets the stuff related to him, like not like functions or anything, or like
Yeah.
how things in the world work.
Isn't
He
that-
remember what is the letterbox thing? So you don't remember anything about yourself, but you remember
He-
movies.
He remembers movies, not himself.
And how to play
Same.
and how to play the piano,
Yeah.
which I was not ready. Like,
That was fun. That was a
Which
fun scene.
so
Which again is important to the plot.
Yep.
I'm super torn, as if because I did not see that like came out of left field that he was able to just jam out like that.
The movie does a fantastic
Boogie
job of
down.
making you want to believe that it's him.
It really does. But that's where I was wondering, like, if showing and again, this would have added to the runtime, which I'd maybe chop off other things. Who knows?
Again, chop off the first 20 minutes.
Well, I was gonna say, would
Make
you
us
show
not
him?
know whether or not he is.
Would you show him jamming on the piano?
Boogieing down.
Boogieing down. Sorry.
You're not
Like-
jamming. You're boogieing
Like,
down.
It's a very-
Should you showed him doing
it's a very
that first before him remembering? Because like I didn't know he could play it at all, and so that
That's that.
It's
It does,
very
it does
important
kinda.
to linking him to Luke and making you believe that he may be Luke.
But the entire time, you know, it's not.
That's the thing. It's convincing you that because you forget that. Oh yeah.
I never forgot that though. Like I just
Yeah, but you're you.
Again,
so that's why
it makes you want to believe that this is plausible.
But that's why that when in the back of my mind,
It
this
makes you-
place is like
Go ahead.
I was at this place is just like not okay. Maybe horror is the wrong word, but like a suspense. Like the fact that you could see him indoctrinated is a really good word. Him getting indoctrinated into this town just because no malicious intent whatsoever. They just think that's who he is, and then like that just played like in my mind.
But isn't
plays
that
out,
what
like,
happened,
it's
though?
Creepy. Well, yes, but like
So you're talking about changing the genre for something that actually happened in the movie.
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the movie could have gone in many different tones. Is what I'm saying. Like they could have handled the same exact story, but just with like obviously just a different score and maybe slightly different camera angles and composition, whatever. This exact same story could have played out like a suspense / kind of a horror movie.
I think I prefer it as the romance that it is.
Which is fair. I love horror stuff, so that's
Yeah.
why my brain twisted like that. But
I like the way that it made me forget that it didn't make me forget that he was a writer, but it made me want to believe that, maybe there's something more, and maybe he actually is. Can you imagine what would have happened if they actually showed like Matt Damon as the person?
I know that would have
writing
been like, whoa.
that would have broken the illusion
that
so
would have been wild.
hard.
Just to bookend what you said, we spend so much time with amnesia, Peter, that we start to forget about pre-accident Peter.
And maybe that's why it's so long. Like maybe that's intentional.
Again, if it's the first 20 minutes and like the last 20, that's almost 2 hours that we spend with
Amnesia Peter.
Yep.
Mhm.
I like the way he remembers it too. Like it's not some big thing. He's just kind of
he just-
watching his.
Which
he
yeah,
goes,
makes so
"Oh,
much
I
sense,
know how
'cause
this goes.
Yeah.
And I do like Harry, his dad, saying like, "How did the picture end?" And he says like, "The good guy," and says, "Oh, good. It's a nice little picture," or something like that.
I know.
Oh.
It's so heartwarming.
Nice little validation from not dad.
Yeah. All right. On that note, anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. This has been I love Jim Carrey. He really is. He does not get as much credit as he deserves. He really is more talented than people.
Yeah, I know. The number 23 should have been a better.
I like Yes Man and Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Dude, yes, man. Legit.
Is bad.
It's so dumb. I love it. But anyway.
Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Anyway,
Jared, for all the people that sat through this awesome discussion on Jim Carrey movies, where can they find us talking about more cool and fun stuff?
alrighty, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can listen to us on Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. And if you're on YouTube watching, hey, like, subscribe, and ring our bell.
Hold up. Wait. Aren't we funny on one of those?
Yes,
Which one?
TikTok.
Oh!
Nicely done. So from all of us here at Slate Media, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure to stay tuned for more awesome content coming your way very soon. So from all of us here at Slate Media, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We will see you next time.